Hello everyone, and welcome to my screencast on creating theory, cognitivism. Through our studies this week, we've built a depth of knowledge. I'll distill my knowledge while working to address three questions. How does learning occur? What are the instructional implications of cognitivism? And cognitivism and new media. How do we support our learners? So let's begin. Based on cognitivism, how does learning occur? When it comes to this theory, we focus the brain on how learners process information. With cognitivism, we first think of our brain as a computer. This is known as the information processing model, where a computer processes information with RAM and encodes that information into a hard drive. Our brains too process information. Our brains process and encode information moving from sensory memory, which is what you're taking in with sights and sounds, into working memory or short-term memory, which is what you're thinking about right now, and from here into long-term memory in the form of declarative and non-declarative memory. The power of cognitivist theory first starts with the understanding of our brain as an information processing center and flows into an understanding of how we transfer knowledge into the long-term memory. So the main question then is, how do we go from sensory into long-term? How do we transfer and encode this knowledge in a repeatable way? With that, we begin to introduce the concept of mental framework through our understanding of schema, continuing to think of our brain in the sense that it is like a computer. Each memory we have, each bit of knowledge, would be organized into different mental folders. As designers and educators, this theory encourages us to relate new information to existing information within the folders of our learners' minds. These existing folders are the learner's schema. This theory asks us to utilize the schema as the context for new learning. Through the cognitivist lens, we utilize schema in three ways: accretion, gradually adding new knowledge to existing over time; tuning, adjusting knowledge to focus on specific tasks; and restructuring, building entirely new mental folders. It's up to the designer to decide which of these three methods will work best for their learners. This leads to question 2. What are the instructional implications of cognitivism? Regarding the implications, we consider the processing of information, adding meaning and context, and schema. We have to consider these three as designers. The first implication is that we must determine a learner's predisposition to our curriculum while building engagement. How will our instruction be processed? Our emphasis includes the active involvement of our learners. We focus on driving mental engagement over passive consumption. With that in mind, as designers, we are required to create meaning and context for our learners to accomplish active mental engagement. This context or meaning relies on the learner's predisposition. Cognitive theory encourages us to add context and meaning, and we can use WIFM, or what's in it for me, to stimulate the learners while contextualizing information with what they are about to ingest. And finally, cognitivism suggests that we must activate schema and relate our materials to prior knowledge, building on the foundation that learners already have. Research suggests this can be done using hierarchical analysis, illustrating prerequisite knowledge. Our emphasis includes the active involvement of our learners. We focus on driving mental engagement over passive consumption. Our third question today centers around cognitivism and new media. How do we support our learners? With regards to new media and technologies supporting cognitivist theory, I believe that generative AI is poised to enhance our abilities as educators to generate adaptive learning. When thinking about cognitivism, my mind goes to activating schema, scaffolding knowledge, contextualizing information to the real world, and encouraging active learners. Adaptive learning powered by AI can be a fantastic use case to improve upon what we already do with this theory and with adaptive learning. With AI-powered adaptive learning, we can gather learner information using tools similar to what we use now, such as surveys. We can feed this information into AI, which can quickly synthesize personas for our learners. Gen AI can now work to build out adaptive paths for each learner's specific needs, increasing our abilities to scale such programs and activate their mental schema and framework. These individual paths can be adjusted in real time as well by the AI, ensuring material continues to connect to the schema and ensures that we continue to scaffold new knowledge. So the designer's role then changes a bit. We become focused on consulting with our stakeholders, ensuring that our programs are in sync with organizational needs, contextualizing the learning for our audiences, validating that the learning paths are advancing the organization, and ensuring that there's accuracy and meaningful takeaways for our learners. The way we gather and provide feedback, contextualize information, and drive engagement with new media has the potential to become more personalized, more adaptive, and do so with cognitivist principles through evolutions in AI. So thank you for joining me today on this brief journey into cognitivism. While there have been many resources, I've taken several here on screen. Please have a look at those if you have not already. Have a wonderful day, and I look forward to joining you all as we head into our next theory.